Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have to tell them to increase the volume. All of you have come here even after so cold, and not for me, for Lord. And at every step of yours, the one which moves towards the Lord takes you towards Bhagavat Ji. Lord knows about that very well. Therefore, don't think that Lord is not watching you. In front of him, he has got all the CC cameras. Nobody comes by walking, everybody comes on the car. Some people have come from Druvha, driving 2 hours, they reached here. बहुत कम आ रही है महाराज जी. कल बहुत अच्छी थी, आज कम आ रही. Yesterday I ate more, so my voice was louder. Maharaj ji saying. हाँ जी मैम. So straight away we come on the point. This clock in front of me is the gati of the Kal, and it gives me the realization that I have got very less time, and there's a lot to say. My stomach is not going to be filled in 1.5 hours. Bhagavat Ji is that we should study for 3 in the morning and 3 hours in the evening. So I wish there is a lockdown again. Not the bad one, but the good lockdown. And we can speak 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening and enjoying it nicely. We should listen and hear Bhagwan's Lord's Katha. It's very blissful. So when the time is so less, it is so difficult to even decide from where should I start. Because even if I take one verse, that can be detailed so much that it can go for 7 days. Now I have been ordered that this particular day I have to speak this particular day I have to speak that. I feel I can speak first canto for 7 days. There is so much material in this. There is so much extension in this.
तेजो वारी मृगम यथा विन्मय यत्र दिसर्प वृषा धामना सोयना सदा निरस्तोकम सत्यम परम धीमहि धर्म प्रोजित कैतव अत्र परमो निर्मस्रणं सताम वेद्यं वास्तव अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्राय मुनिम श्रीमद् भागवत महामणि कृते किंवा परिईश्वरा सद्य हृदय वृद्धि पृथ्वी शुष्य तक्षणा निगम कल्तरं गलितं फलं शुक मुखात अमृत द्रव्य समितम पीबद भागवत रसमालयम मुह रहो रसिका भोगी भावका. ये मैंने श्लोक उच्चारण किए।
This verse which I have spoken, this is the Mangala Charan.
भागवत जी का मंगलाचरण।
Bhagavad Ji's Mangala Charan.
मंगलाचरण का मतलब होता
What
है
is the meaning of Mangala Charan?
जिसमें सब प्रकार का मंगल प्राप्त
In which we get all auspiciousness.
है मंगलाचरण।
This is Mangala Charan.
फोन साइलेंट कर लीजिए।
Please, all of you, put your phones on silent. Check also. It's on silent.
श्रीमद् भागवत जी के प्रथम स्कंद में
In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavad Ji,
महाभारत का कुछ अंश वर्णन हुआ है।
there is a part of Mahabharata has been described.
क्योंकि कल हम सुन आए हैं
Yesterday we heard
कि श्रीमद् भागवत सारे शास्त्रों का सार है।
that Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all the scriptures, all the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras as well as Mahabharata's essence.
इसलिए कुछ अंश महाभारत का भी
Therefore, there are some parts of Mahabharata are in the first canto of Bhagavad Ji has been described,
जिसमें पांडवों की कथा का वर्णन है।
in which there is a story, a pastime about the Pandavas. Now the question has been raised. Shaunak and other rishis, they came together in Naimisharanya. They all are collected together in Naimisharanya,
गोस्वामी जी को
where they
ऊंचे सिंहासन पर
made
विराजमान किया
Shuddha Goswami sit on the high
और
throne
उनसे प्रश्न
and asked him the questions, 6 questions.
उन 6 प्रश्नों के उत्तर
In the answer of these 6 questions, the whole Srimad Bhagavat has been spoken.
भागवत जी को महापुराण कहा गया।
Bhagavad Ji has been called as Mahapuran.
बाकी तो 18 पुराण हैं।
There are other 18 Puranas
ये
also.
महापुराण क्यों?
Why this called Mahapuran?
बोलते हैं इसलिए
This is because
लक्षणों से पता लगता है कि कोई ग्रंथ पुराण है कि महापुराण।
by the symptoms we know whether that in Srimad Bhagavat there are 10 symptoms.
होने के कारण
Because of those 10 symptoms, Srimad Bhagavat is called as a Mahapuran.
विसर्ग स्थानम कोशनम पुति मनवंत ईश अनुकथा निरोध मुक्ति। ये थोड़ा सा सिद्धांत है।
This is a principle, a bit tricky principle.
प्रथम स्कंद में
In the first canto, in Srimad Bhagavad Ji, there are few parts of Mahabharata in the first canto, where the Shaunak and the other rishis have asked these questions.
लिखने वाले रचयिता
The writer of the Srimad Bhagavad Ji, Ved Vyas Ji, we will hear the life history of Ved Vyas Ji, and also Shukdev Goswami who spoke Bhagavad Ji. We will also speak something about Shukdev Goswami, and especially the hearer or the listener of Srimad Bhagavat, Parikshit Maharaj. In relation to that, we will also hear.
अब ये 3
Now these are three, the life history of Ved Vyas Ji, the life history of Shukdev Goswami, and the life history of Parikshit. This can only be completed in 7 days only.
कृष्ण जन्म राधा जन्म
So the birth of Shri Krishna, then the Radha Ji and Govardhan Leela,
और सारा दिन से
we need 7 more days for that.
इतना समय नहीं है।
We don't have that much
आज
time.
हम
So what?
परीक्षित जी का थोड़ा सा सुन लेते
So today we will hear a little bit about Parikshit Ji, a little bit, not too much.
गोस्वामी जी का व्यास जी का अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया के बाद हवाई में भागवत होगी वहाँ पर
When I will speak the Bhagavad Ji in Hawaii, you can come there if you want to hear about the Krishna pastimes and the Radha Ji's pastime and the Govardhan pastimes.
प्रश्न के उत्तर में
In the answer to the question,
यहाँ से बात आरंभ हुई।
this
गोस्वामी
Shut Goswami started this
यहाँ से बात आरंभ हुई कि
this episode started from here,
समाप्त हो चुकी।
that the battle of the Mahabharata has finished, and Bhim
दुर्योधन की जंगा को
and the Bhim
गदा से प्रहार करके
has already broken the thigh bone of Duryodhan,
निस्सहाय छोड़ दिया।
and he has left him helpless.
नाभि से नीचे
Under the
गदा को नहीं
navel,
मारना
one shouldn't hit someone under the level of the belly button. This is against the rules of the battle,
और इसी बात को लेकर
and for
बलराम जी
that
को
Balram ji was very angry,
ये भीम ने उचित कार्य नहीं
and he
किया।
was like, Bhim hasn't done this appropriate, he hasn't done this right, this is against the principle of the club fighting. One should never hit someone under the belly button. But Balram ji was in so much anger,
कि मानो इच्छा कर रही कि
as
आज
if he
भीम
was
से लड़ेंगे।
feeling that I'm going to fight with Bhima today.
लेकिन कृष्ण बहुत
But Krishna is very affectionate towards devotees,
अत्यंत प्रिय है।
and he is very much loving to of Pandavas,
सामंजस्य करते
and he
हुए
wanted to reconcile the situation.
श्री कृष्ण बलराम जी को जाकर
And Shri Krishna
जो ऐसी
went to
ऐसी
Balram
बातें सुनाई,
and went him so many
छोटा भाई भी यदि कुछ
things
कहता
that
है तो बड़े
even
को भी मुंह बंद हो जाता है।
he told him so many of
बड़ी
these
मर्यादा के
like
साथ
even though he said
वो
everything
सारे
with the
emotions
etiquettes,
together,
but he
एक
put
साथ।
all his emotions together
थोड़ा सा कटाक्ष,
with a little bit of a taunt.
सब्जी बनती है ना, थोड़ा
Just like when you make some cook some such sabji or vegetables, you have to put everything in a nice proportion, it becomes tasty. So like that,
कथन इसी प्रकार का है।
Krishna speaking is like that.
थोड़ा सा तो कटाक्ष
A little bit of taunt
थोड़ा
was
सा
there,
क्रोध
a
था,
little bit of
थोड़ा
anger,
सा सम्मान था,
little bit of
थोड़ा सा
respect,
आदर था।
and little bit of
और
awe,
बलराम जी को
and to Balramji, and he told Balramji a
आज
lot.
आप कह रहे हैं
He said to Balramji, today you are saying this is against the principle of the fights. Where were you when the Pandavas, there were atrocities on them in Rakshagrah, when they were burnt, when the Draupadi was derobed?
बहुत सारे विषयों को
There are so many subjects like that. Krishna raised all these issues and Balramji was quiet. He couldn't say a word.
बोलते दाऊ भैया
And he said, Krishna told, oh Dao Bhaiya, you are gone into pilgrimage.
आपको क्या पता?
You have no idea what was happening behind you.
तो बलदेव जी
And Baldev ji,
कुछ कहना था।
he couldn't say anything. He couldn't answer back anything. He was quiet. He to postpone Mahabharata. He said he tried so much to avoid Mahabharata. This is a fight for dharma.
एक देश का
This is not just one country is trying to engulf the other country. This is a dharma religion fight.
भरसक प्रयास किया
Bhagwan tried his level best to avoid this battle. God himself,
जो सर्वनियंता है
he's himself a controller.
ईश्वर है
He's Ishvara himself.
वह भगवान भी
That himself, that God,
कर जा रहे
he's going like a doot. Doot is like a messenger.
ये भगवान को शोभा देता है।
Does it really suit a personality of Godhead to do that?
अरे कंपनी में एक मालिक भी
In the
टीम को भेजता है।
even in a company, in a corporate, the director always sends some like a peon or someone, a low class employee. He never goes himself
प्रोफाइल स्टेटस है।
because he has a status and a profile in the company.
ऐसा एक स्वरूप है
But Bhagwan is such a kind of personality. He is so big.
है तो षड ऐश्वर्य
He is complete with 6 types of opulences.
भगवान में है।
But the humility which Bhagwan has is not seen anywhere else.
वो भी खा सकते हैं जो हम आप नहीं खा सकते।
He can even eat what we all cannot eat.
किसी को पसंद है
Can anybody like to eat the banana peels? I cannot eat,
लेकिन ये खा लेते
but he can eat.
हैं। कच्चा तांडू कच्चा चिड़वा कोई खा सकता है।
Can anybody eat raw beaten rice like poha? I cannot, but Bhagwan eats.
इसलिए बड़े दीनहीन हैं।
Therefore, he is so much humble. He went like a messenger,
और धृतराष्ट्र भीष्म
and all these in front of Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, and all these gurus. He went with us like a peace messenger,
धृतराष्ट्र के सामने प्रस्ताव रखा।
and he gave this offer in front of Dhritarashtra.
मैं पांडवों की ओर
Look,
से आया हूँ।
I have come
जो
from
मैं
the side of
कहूँगा,
Pandavas.
पांडव मेरी बात मानने
Whatever
की
I will
बात
say, Pandavas will accept
वो
it.
कुछ भी
They are
नहीं
bound to
कहेंगे।
accept. They will
मैं
not say
उनकी ओर
anything.
से
And from their
और
side,
कुछ नहीं,
I'm,
बस 5
I don't want to
गाँव
ask for anything except
बस
for
5
5
गाँव
villages. Just give them 5 villages. They'll be content in that.
ये संपत्ति पांडवों की ही है।
This whole entire this region belongs to Pandavas.
दुर्योधन भड़क गया।
Listening to that, Duryodhan was angry.
एक गवाले
And he said, oh cowherd boy,
5 गाँव की बात बोल
you are talking about 5 villages.
जानते हो क्षत्रिय कैसे होते हैं?
What do you know? Do you know about warriors, Kshatriyas, the nature of Kshatriyas?
नौक के बराबर भी भूमि नहीं
I will not even give the land equal to the size of the tip of the needle.
लगे।
And Shri Krishna says, oh Dhritarashtra,
ये बड़ी सभा में
in this whole, this court of full of people,
दुर्योधन की ही बात को समझते हो?
do you all only listen to, you only understand the language of Duryodhan and no one else? And Duryodhan said, oh, you be quiet,
बांध दूंगा।
otherwise I'll tie you up.
भगवान कहने लगे तुम
Bhagwan said, you can tie me.
और सभी उस समय वहाँ पर
And all the people who were assembled there, they were angry. And Bhishma was saying, stop it, Duryodhan, whom do you want to tie? Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and all these, and Dhritarashtra also. But Dhritarashtra was so much bound in the love of his son. He was blind as well, but now his eyes of the mind and the intelligence and the eyes were also closed. And he immediately ordered, catch this cowherd boy. And at the same time, and then Lord manifested his effulgence. What kind of effulgence? Which was equal to the millions of the sun. And then we say, Bhagwan is not seen. How can we believe that if he is not visible? How can we believe on him? We call him so much, we do kirtan. Why he doesn't come in front of us? God says, oh son, even if I come in front of you, you won't be able to see me. Why? Because at the time of 12 o'clock noon, you just try to watch the sun for a minute. Can you see the sun? Can you stare at the sun? Your eyes will be blinded. We can't even see one sun. And how is the form of the Lord is equal to millions of sun together? How will we see? He manifested so much of effulgence that everyone's eyes were closed. Nobody could watch. But devotees could watch, could see. Bhishma is watching. Vidura is watching. Why can't these people see? Were they wearing any special glasses? What kind of the glasses they have? Brahma ji is saying about that. In the devotees wear this mascara or the kajal in the eyes of love. Because of that love, they can have the darshan of Lord Krishna. Otherwise, demigods cannot have darshan, and not forget about the asuras or human beings. But yes, it's not that he's not visible. It's not that we cannot see him at all. We can see him. We can see him, and the solution is ears. The only solution to see Bhagwan is ears. We can see him with our ears. How can we see with ears? Do we have lenses in the ears? He said, those who tried to see Krishna or God with eyes, they couldn't. For example, Ravan, he was watching Ramji's form in front of his eyes, but even then he couldn't see him. He couldn't have darshan of Lord Ram, and he had the desire to kill him. Kans. Krishna reached in this Rangashala or this the arena of the Kansa, and all these Chanur and Mushtik, they were so close to Krishna to fight with martial arts with him, but they couldn't see him. And like Duryodhan, so all of these people who tried to see Krishna with their eyes, they couldn't. But those who tried to see Krishna with their ears, they could all see. What is the meaning of watching from the ears? It is Shravanam. Those who did Shravanam, those who listen from ears. From ears, the beautiful, the auspicious, powerful, the pastimes of Krishna who hear with the medium of the ears. The Bhagwan comes into their heart through from ears. How can? Because God is very subtle. He is not gross. Bhagavat ji, the verses of Bhagavat ji are also very subtle. We will do the fire sacrifice on the 3rd, on the Sunday morning. Why do we do yagyas?
अग्नि जलाने
we fire the and we do the japas of the mantras and we do these ahutis or like the offerings. What is the meaning of that swaha? Swaha. It means any of the layers which are above the earth planetary system, they are more subtle. Like the heavenly planets are more subtle. Brahma's planet is even more subtle. Shiva's planet is even more subtle. As higher we go, the layers get more and more subtle. And Golak Vrindavan is the topmost limit of subtleness, the topmost place where Radha and Krishna are visible, even higher than Saket. And it is so high that the subtleness is highest. Therefore, fire. What does fire indicate? Down or above? If you take a stone, where will the stone go? On the up or down? It will go down because of the gravitational force. But why is the fire does always go up and doesn't come down? Because Agni or the fire is a part of sun, and therefore it is going towards its own from where it belongs to the sun, so it goes higher. So that is why the fire is very subtle and the mantras are also very subtle. The Agni doesn't have a form, so with the subtle fire, the subtle mantras, our offerings can go to these subtle planetary systems and the subtle people living in there. This is the purpose of a yagya. So listening with the ears, the Lord is so subtle that through the path of the ears He comes into the heart. Therefore we can have the vision, darshan of Lord with our ears, not with our eyes. Therefore what do all the devotees do? They hear from ears and obtain bhakti, and with that bhakti gradually it reaches on the stage of prema, and that prema, when it is attained, Bhagwan darshan is achieved straight away. Where he is not. When Hiranyakashipu asked, "Where is your Bhagwan?" he asked that to Prahlad. Prahlad said, "This question is not appropriate." Why? You are saying, "Where is your my Bhagwan?" I am asking where he is not. I have a counter question, where Bhagwan is not. If he is everywhere, why is he not visible? But when we have the eyes with the prem, then everywhere we can see him. And then the students in the school asks, "Do you agree that Bhagwan is everywhere?" They said yes. I said, "I don't agree. If Bhagwan is everywhere, then why do you worship these deities here? You have restricted Bhagwan in this form of a deity. That means Bhagwan is not everywhere. You yourself are making this idol of Bhagwan and worshipping it. And you yourself are denying that Bhagwan is not everywhere by making the form of a Lord in the form of a deity." It's a very nice question, Maharaj ji said. And he said, "Okay, answer Maharaj, answer." Maharaj said, "Are you a science student? Or you're a student of a commerce?" He said, "I'm a science student." "Do you study chemistry?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, tell me one thing. In the environment, there is water. Water is everywhere." Then I said, "If the water is everywhere, you should drink the water like this. Why do you drink from the bottle? Why do you take the water in the form of in a cup or something? Why, when water is everywhere, why can't you just drink it directly?" He said, "It can't be drank like that." So similarly, we cannot worship Lord like that. Just like you drink water through a pot or through a cup or something, and then you feel satisfied, even though even though God is everywhere, we have to do the worship in the form of the deity. Therefore, so Krishna tried his level best. He came as a messenger for peace but couldn't do anything. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj, he lost everything in the gambling. Now these 5 Pandavas, they were very favorite devotees of Lord. And then why Yudhishthir is playing gamble? We cannot digest that. If he is so close to the Lord, then why is he playing gambling? The devotees, they don't play gambling. But who is Yudhishthir? He is Dharmaraj, means actually Yamaraj. Yudhishthir ji is Dharmaraj. Once when Yamaraj ji was cursed and he became Yudhishthir. Have you heard that pastime? There was a rishi called Munduk Rishi. He was always absorbed in his tapasya. At a king, there was a stealth. So I'm speaking very quickly now. I'm not trying to tell the details. Because Maharaj is feeling anxious. There is only 1 hour left and there is a lot to be told. So I'm very quickly telling this. This Manduk Rishi, he was sitting in his meditation, and the thief, he did the stealing and he went running, and the soldiers, they couldn't catch the thief, and they saw this saintly person sitting there. So they came to him and said, "Oh, you are acting like a saint now, you are a thief and we will take you." So they got Munduk Rishi instead of the thief to the king, and the king said, "In front of the whole of my subjects, tomorrow I will give him punishment so that everybody can see what is the result of stealing." And in front of everyone, Munduk Rishi was sentenced to death. And in those days, and how was the death sentence given? If you hear that, you will be surprised. Just like these days, not here, but in India, they do like a hang, like that, the rope thing in the neck. At those days, there was this like a sphere. They used to make the person sit on that. And then the person was cut into half. This was the way the death sentence was given, and that's how. So this is how it was done. They would make the thief sit on that as that spade, and then king ordered, make him sit on that and kill him. And Manduk Rishi is so powerful, so effulgent, and they made him sit on that weapon, but then he couldn't even, he wasn't even touching that spade, and then he was levitating on the top of it, and everyone was surprised, what is happening? And then he understood, oh, I have done offense, and then he came running, oh Maharaj, please forgive me, I have done a mistake, please forgive me. And Manduk Rishi is thinking, what kind of a punishment should I give him? He is actually innocent. I will go actually to Yamaraj, because he only writes the punishment for everyone, and I'll ask him because of which offense in front of everyone I was actually humiliated. I had to be sat on this spade. And he went to Yamaraj to ask this question. And he asked, "Oh Yamaraj, oh Dharmaraj, what offense did I make that I was humiliated in front of everyone?" Yamaraj ji said, "Okay, let me see my accounts diary." And then he said, when you were a little boy, 3-4 years old, these little insects, crawling insects, on the back side of these crawling insects, you used to like you used to use a thorn to punch, hit, curse, like. So because of that, you had to be punished today. And Manduk Rishi said, since when have you started doing the adharma? Don't you know there is no fault of a child? Under 5 years, there is no fault considered for a child under the age of 5. Have you forgotten that? And I curse you, Dharmaraj. So Yamaraj is not ordinary. He is the main devotee. He is a devotee of Lord. Nobody takes the name of Yamaraj. But he is such a close devotee, intimate devotee of Lord. There are 12 such devotees which are very close to Bhagavan. And Yamaraj is saying, I am one of the 12 Mahajanas, very pure devotees of Lord. And therefore you shouldn't hesitate to take the name of Yamaraj, because if you take the name of Yamaraj, we actually get purified. But today he is giving the curse. And he was given this curse, go and become a Shudra and become a king. Why did he give such a curse? Because it's a Shudra who cannot do the devotion of the Lord. He has no idea. He's always busy morning till night. He's always hand to mouth, so he has no time to do the bhakti. Because whatever he earns whole day, he has spent, so he has no time to do the bhakti. The second is king. He cannot do the bhakti. Why? Because he is so much of opulence, he is so much of wealth that he has no time, because he has no time left after doing the enjoyment. Because he has got so much to enjoy. So these two type of people cannot do the devotion. So therefore Manduk Rishi gave this curse, you go and become king and the Shudra. So this was a curse of the Manduk Rishi. And the other side is the another vow of Lord. O Arjun, my devotee never get perished. Even if he is cursed, my devotee's devotion never finishes. And Yamaraji is a devotee. So he was cursed that you have to become a king and a Shudra. So he became a king. How? He became Yudhishthir. And he had to become a Shudra. He became Vidurji also. So double role. He became Vidurji as well as Dharmaraj Yudhishthir. But was their devotion reduced? No. Because Krishna has promised, my devotee never perishes. My devotee's devotion never perishes. Even if some curse them or give them a benediction, doesn't matter. There was no difference in the bhakti of Yudhishthirji and also in the Vidurji. Long story short, so it's like, where should I cut the story? How can I reduce the content? When we make a movie, they try to edit it. Where should I cut it? Where should I edit it? But not much scope. So like Krishna gave this offer. Lord is giving this offer. At one side is me, and the other side is my 18 millions and billions of my soldiers in the battlefield. And one side is me without any weapons. Duryodhan, what do you want? Duryodhan thought, what will I get by taking you? I'll have to serve you, may give you food and give you offerings. I rather take your the army. And the Arjun was very happy. Oh, my life is saved. And Duryodhan was very happy as well when he left. And he got the army. And Arjun was saying, I don't want your army. I need you.
यही चैलेंज हमारे सामने भी आता है।
This challenge comes in front of us as well.
एक तरफ संसार
At one
का
side we have the material enjoyment,
और एक तरफ
and the other side is the service of the Lord.
और हम भी सोचते हैं
And we also think,
इनको घर में रखेंगे, सेवा करनी पड़ेगी।
if we keep Lord in our home, we'll have to serve Him.
आपका संसार
So we choose, oh, we don't want you, Krishna, we want your material world.
क्योंकि बड़ा मजा आता है भोग करने में।
It is more enjoyable to enjoy the material world, but in Arjun,
सब समय रहे।
Krishna stayed with him all the time.
दुर्योधन बड़े प्रसन्न होकर अपने मामा के पास आया।
Duryodhan was very happy and he came to his uncle, Shakuni Mama.
बोले मामा जी,
And he said, oh Mama ji, oh uncle, let us celebrate, we have won the battle.
बोले बेटा अभी तो युद्ध आरंभ नहीं।
And he said, oh son, the battle hasn't even started yet. He said, we have won before even the battle started. You know why?
18
Because I have got 18 billion of this army from Krishna. Now who can kill us? Who can defeat us? And then the Shakuni said, okay, wait, hang on a second. What was tell me the whole story. He said, you know that cowherd boys who sometimes pretend as a warrior Kshatriya? I don't know how many forms does he take. And he said, you can choose between me or my army. And then I thought, why should I choose him? What will I do with him? So I selected his Narayani Sena, Narayani's army. So look, uncle, today your nephew has won. And Shakuni was like, oh my God, you are so stupid. I have never seen such a fool like you. The one who you left, when he laughs, he wins the armies immediately that time. So you haven't actually won, you have actually lost. Oh foolish. Shakuni also criticized Duryodhan that time. And in front of the whole assembly, he insulted Vidurji also. Vidurji was giving advice to Dhritarashtra, oh brother, you are blind, but at least try to see from our eyes. Why are you so much under the control of your son that you're taking, who is taking the whole Hastinapur on the path of devastation? And then he said, oh son of the Dasi or the servant, how dare you say that? You are the son of a servant, maid servant. Stay like that. Listening that, even Dhritarashtra didn't say anything to intervene. Saying that, Vidurji felt very sad. Whatever Duryodhan might say, it is said in Bangla, means the goat, what can a goat not eat and what can a mad not speak? And he is mad, he can speak anything, so I don't mind. But when he's heard that, but Dhritarashtra didn't intervene. Seeing that, Vidurji felt very insulted. And that time, he left, paying obeisances to the doorway of Hastinapur. And seeing that, Krishna came running to the Pandavas, and I tell you very good news. You have just think that you have won the battle. Except, and Arjun said, Keshava, the fight hasn't even started yet. Krishna said, you have won the battle even before starting. Why? This is because Vidur has left the side of Kauravas and left. And I can tell you something very truthfully, Arjun. On that side, there was only one person, which was Vidur, because of whom I would have not been able to help you. If Vidurji had taken their side and he came on the side of the battle, I would have been helpless. I would have surrendered. Now Vidur has left. I have no fear. Therefore, you have considered you have won the battle. So much of importance of Vidurji. Therefore, Yudhishthirji and Vidurji, both of them They were actually Yamaraj who was cursed by Manduk Rishi. So if Yudhishthir is such a good devotee, why was he playing the gambling when he lost it? He lost himself, he lost Draupadi and all the kingdom. Why did he play? If he hadn't played the gambling, he wouldn't have lost anyone. A devotee doesn't do gambling. Devotee never wants to listen to his praise. Always remember that. Devotees always run away from their praise. Yudhishthir was getting praised everywhere because he was with Krishna. Everyone was saying Yudhishthir is glorious, Yudhishthir is glorious. And Yudhishthir Maharaji thought in his mind, I should do something so because of which everybody will criticize me. I don't want to listen to my praise. I just want to live like a humble person. Therefore, I should play gamble. He wanted to lower down his profile, not actually to enjoy the gamble. So it is very difficult to understand a devotee and understand the activities of the devotees is not even possible for the demigods. The activities of the Vaishnavas, not even the very highly educated people can understand. Even the demigods cannot understand the activities of the Vaishnavas. Their feelings, their bhavanas are so highly elevated. For example, listen carefully. Don't do anything, just listen attentively. Forget about everything, just listen attentively. What was I saying? You should tell. The bhavas of the devotees are so elevated. Give an example. I'm giving an example. Once Krishna asked Arjun, come with me, I'll make you meet a Vaishnav. Arjun said, oh, bigger than me. This is what Krishna wanted to make Arjuna to understand, that you should keep your profile low. I'll make you introduced to a Vaishnava even elevated than you. So he took him to a jungle and then stopped his chariot and said, oh Arjun, go. There is a Mahatma, a saint sitting there, go and take his blessings. And he said, come along, Krishna, with me. He said, no, if I come along, that saint will be a bit nervous. So you go by yourself. So Arjun went, oh, doesn't matter. I'm such an elevated devotee. So what difference does it make? I'll go and meet that person. And he went there and he paid obeisances. He said, oh Maharaj ki jai. And he saw that saintly person with so much effulgence coming out of his body. And that saintly person opened his eyes and he said, who is there? And then he said, oh, I'm just a traveler passing by the forest. I just want your blessings. And then Arjun saw that the saintly person had these 3 arrows. And he thought, oh, Mahatmas, the saintly people have these japamala. But then, what kind of saint is that? Sadhu is that who has got 3 arrows kept next to him? And then he asked, oh Maharaj, if you don't feel bad, can I ask a question? He said, okay, ask. Sadhus should have the mala, japamala, and you are such a nice saint with all the effulgence coming out of you. Your face is so looking, so much devotion can be seen on your face. Then why do you have these 3 trishuls, like to kill 3 people, he said. You are a sadhu and you want to kill people? How is that? He said, why not? The person who will actually cause a trouble to my Prabhu. I will kill him. He said, who are these three for? He said, the first is for Arjun. And Arjun like, oh, scared. He was like, thankfully I didn't say I give my introduction as Arjun, otherwise he would have killed me straight away. And what did Arjun do wrong to you, O Maharaj? He has troubled my Prabhu's opulence. My Lord, who everyone worships him as Bhagavan. Because of him, he had to become his chariot driver. His hands are so soft, softer than the softest lotus. And he was holding these reins of the horses. All these big kings, what will they think about my Lord? There is no status of my Lord. He is a chariot driver and he is holding these ropes of these horses, and then Arjuna is ordering, take the chariot to the left, take the chariot to the right. The day I meet Arjun, I won't leave him. And Arjun said, oh Maharaj, all right. What is the second one for? Second is for Draupadi. Arjun was thinking, oh, all of these troubles have to fall on my family only. What Draupadi did wrong to you, Maharaj? Draupadi is very cunning. She spoiled my Lord's rest. Oh, Lord was sitting in Dwarika to have some meals. His hand just reached his mouth to eat, and Draupadi raised her hands. Oh, Govind, save me. And my Lord, he's so affectionate towards his devotees. He just threw this food away and ran quickly, immediately, to save her chastity. And she destroyed my Lord's food and meals. If I was in place of her, I would have never bothered him with in his happiness or his sukh. Couldn't she tolerate a little bit? At least she could have waited for Prabhu to have meals. And then Arjun said, oh Maharaj, your bhavs are very elevated. And what is the third for? And that is for Prahlad. And he said, oh, thankfully my elder people will be saved in my family. What did Prahlad do wrong to you? I said, oh, he spoiled the form, the beauty of my Prabhu. My Prabhu has such a beautiful form. Such a beautiful form of my Lord, beauty, just like in the sky, these newly formed clouds, when there is a thunder, the lightning, that's how the color of his garments and his effulgence, that beauty which never diminishes, dwindles, which is ever increasing and increasing. It never dwindles, never sets. That beauty, such is a beauty. Is there a beauty which for every second is increasing and ever increasing? But because of that Prahlad, what did my Lord has to become? Half animal, half human. Prahlad spoiled the form of my Lord. I won't leave him. Arjun said, oh Maharaj, your bhavs are very elevated. I will just obey obeisances and I go. And I will definitely send Arjun to you when I meet him. And then Arjun ran away and to reach the Lord, and he said, at least you should have told me and warned me where you were sending me. He said, have you taken the blessings of him? Arjun now understood why he had sent me to him. I was thinking, I am such a big devotee. But the person whose bhavs are high is actually his devotion is high. It is not the importance of the activity in here, but the moods behind that is actually insignificant.
Activity is not important. The intent behind that activity is more. The intent has to be very important. हम सब यहाँ पर आए हैं.
All of us have come here. What is the intent of us coming here? This is what Lord acknowledges for every individual. We cannot be saved from that because He's sitting in our heart. Why we have come here? What is the intent or the reason? Even if we don't tell it to each other, but who knows? Him, the Lord knows. He knows very well. If you have come here to get the name and the fame, you will get that. If you have come here to get the wealth, you will get the name and fame. If you have come here to get knowledge, you will get that. But if you have come here for my happiness and to get bhakti in the Pururshottama month, by listening to Bhagavat, your bhakti will increase, your devotion will increase. The regulator is in the hands of Lord. So He says, I can increase your devotion. So Lord, He knows the intent of our heart, the mood. Therefore He is also called Janardana, Bhavgrahi Janardana. He gets our bhavana, the mood, intent. Otherwise, any one of us can think that anyone can actually go and hit on the chest of the Lord, kick on the chest of the Lord. Do we have that kind of audacity? But Bhriguji, straight away, he kicked on the chest of the Lord. Was Bhriguji was offended? Like even though he kicked him, he was still not, he didn't take his offense. Because his intent was actually not to kick him. This was just to establish that Lord is so tolerant. He knows how to tolerate. And He can only Lord who can tolerate. We do so many offenses, so many faults. The biggest fault is that we don't worship Him. The one who gave us this body, this world. Don't feel bad about me, but have you heard about Surdas? He used to write these beautiful poems. He wrote, and he actually sweared himself to teach us. I don't know the whole of that poem, but he says, the one who gave us, the Lord who gave us this body, I don't worship Him. This is how I kind of a rascal I am. He's swearing himself by saying that the one whose salt I ate, I don't worship Him. So He is teaching us. What is the biggest fault we can have? We do that every day. But even then, He's so tolerant. So, a devotee with folded hands does these prayers. What is the meaning? If somebody is walking and they fall down on the ground, then he takes the help of the ground to stand up. Then we hold the ground to stand up, support of the ground to stand up. Similarly, all the offenses which I have done at your lotus feet, you will only forgive them. Who else can that? Where will I go? Does anybody else have this capacity? Can anybody be so tolerant like you? So this was established by whom? Bhriguji. In the front of whole of the world, he showed that on his chest I am kicking. He is actually embracing me. So therefore there is no importance of the activity, but the intent behind that activity is important. Therefore, there was a lot of efforts he did to postpone or avoid the battle of Mahabharata. So the Pandavas were given 12 years of living in the exile in the forest and 1 year living in the exile as a hidden. And then he said, if I find you in that last 1 year, then you'll have to go again for 12 years to live in the forest. So today, so what I am going to say is very much connected to the Pururshottama month. So listen very carefully what I am going to say now. So they had to go for 12 years. They were roaming around in the jungles. And then one last year where they had to be hidden. They were thinking, where should we hide him? Because Duryodhan will send his spies anywhere and find us. So what should we do? So what do? We should maybe hide ourselves in some kingdom. And in the kingdom of Videha, they went, Yudhishthir reached to the king of the Videha, the kingdom. And then he disguised himself with wearing these kundals in his ears and under like a turban and everything. And then went to the king and asked for some work. Oh Lord, please, I am a subject of yours. Give me some work. Engage me in your service. King says, what do you know? And Yudhishthir said, I know very well how to play the gambling game, chopper. And the king said, okay, I like that. You stay with me and every day play that game with me. And then Bhim came in the disguise with hanging like a cloth on his shoulder, like the chef in the kitchen. And he said, oh Lord Maharaj ki jai ho. Or, oh king, I'm your subject. I'm a very ordinary man. I'm looking for some work. Will I get some work? And the king said, okay, what do you know? And he said, I know very well to cook. And the one who knows how well to one who knows very well to eat, always knows how to cook as well. And he said, okay, you can go in our kitchen. Then came Arjuna, just dancing and with all these, and he came in the form of a Brahanala. Arjun was cursed. What was he cursed? Arjun went to the heavenly planet, heaven, looking at the beauty of Arjun. Urvashi, she was very beautiful, most beautiful lady in the heaven. She was spellbound looking at the beauty of Arjuna, and she offered him and proposed Arjuna. So this proposal is like a very old tradition. It's nothing new. So this tradition is actually from not just Dwapar but in Treta also. Because Ravana's sister Shurpanakha proposed Ramji, isn't it? So Urvashi proposed Arjuna, and Arjuna said with folded hands, oh Urvashi, you are like my mother. Why? Urvashi got offended. What are you saying? I'm giving you such a good proposal and you're calling me your mother? I said, why not? Indra is my father. And you dance in the assembly of my father and give him happiness. So like that, you are my mother. I always see you with the vision like a mother. Urvashi was so angry. Why are you talking like a gay? You go and become a gay. A napunsak. Half man, half woman. So he eunuch. So for 1 year he became eunuch. So he knew very well to dance, and when the walking style and everything was in his talking as well was like that, eunuch. And this is a very beautiful art. Those people who dance, and they practice for 10 to 12 hours in a day. They dance and they walk in such a way. Once I met someone who had done a doctorate in dancing of classical. So even when he used to talk, so when Maharaji used to tell him uncle, I was very young that time, so I used to call him uncle, Hare Krishna. And he would say very gently, oh Hare Krishna. So he would talk like that. It's raining today. So even his talking was very artistic, like naturally for him to dance, because he was a dancer, because he was practicing whole day, PhD in dancing. So he was teaching dancing, doing dancing. So Arjun also like that. Like he was very delicately, he came to the king and said, I also want some service. He said, what do you want? I dance. I can teach dancing. He said, okay, you go and teach dance to my daughter, Uttara. The king had one daughter and one son. Son's name was Uttar and daughter's name was Uttara. Okay, you go and teach dancing to Uttara. And then Nakul came. He said, Maharaj, I am also looking for some job. King is saying, why everybody is coming to me today? What's the matter? Because they all wanted to hide in the palace. He said, what do you know? He said, Nakul said, I can smell a horse and I can tell whether the horse is of a good breed or not. And he said, oh, you are very useful. Go. You can go in my horse stable and take the employment there and tell me which horse is the best for the battle or the fights. And then Sahadev came. He said, what do you know? Sahadev said, I can do the service of the cows very well. He said, all right, you go and take a job in the cow shed. And then he said, and then Draupadi came. Oh Maharaj, I'm roaming around here and there. Will I get a service? And she, what do you know? And she said, no, I can do very nice hairstyles for a woman. And then the king said, I will take her. She can do my hairstyles, new hairstyles every day. So like that, all the Pandavas, although they are so powerful, so strong, but to save themselves for 1 year, to complete that Agyatavas, to stay in that exile, they were all hiding as like these small jobs in the king's palace, in kitchen or in the cow shed or the stable. Now Uttara, she was learning dancing from Arjun every day, and she got and then Uttara proposed Arjuna one day, and Arjuna said, no, I can't do that because I've said you so many times as your daughter, but somebody like me will accept you. Later on, Arjun's son was married to Uttara. He was very beautiful like Arjun, his son, Abhimanyu. But the brother of the Uttara was Uttar. Then there came a challenge of the fight from whom? The Kauravas. And then he was very popped up and he said, oh, I will go and fight with the Kauravas. He accepted the challenge. And then Arjun sat on the chariot as a charioteer. And then the prince said, oh, and he said to Brihanala, you go and teach my sister how to dance. It is a job of Kshatriyas. How can you be my Sarthi? But Arjuna knew that he will be definitely beaten in the battlefield. Arjuna knew that. And Arjuna said, I know how to teach dance, but I know how to do the charioting as well. You don't know me. He said, oh, is that the matter? Okay, then come along. Then the prince agreed. And with so much of false pride, he was like, I'm going to fight with the Kauravas. And then when he reached there in the battlefield, he saw Bhishma, Karna, Dronacharya, and then he started sweating. And then he just, oh my goodness, what I'm ending into? And they said, oh, let's go back, he ordered. Arjun said, Kshatriyas cannot go back, otherwise they'll be called as cowards. And then he said, I don't want to die. I didn't know these big people will be in these on the side of the Kauravas. Then Arjun said, no, come on, let's fight. He said, no. And then Arjun said, okay, don't worry, I will fight on your behalf. And then he said, you know how to dance, you know how to do the chariot driving. Do you really know how to do the fighting as well? He said, yes, I know. And then he tied him with the chariot and he said, don't worry, I'll do the rest. And then Arjun went and he got the bow and arrow, and then he defeated everyone there. He defeated all of them one by one. And the prince was watching this. Who is he? He was astonished, and who is this personality? And at same time, the Kauravas started thinking, who can be such a warrior who can defeat all of us? It has to be Arjuna and no one else. And the Duryodhan, and he came up with the hands up. He said, now I have won. Why? Because I identified he is definitely Arjun. Now you will have to go for 12 years back into exile. But Dronacharya and Bhishma intervened and said, no, you don't know, but the 1 year has passed. Duryodhan said, how is that? It's because in the time of that 12 year of exile, 4 times Purushottam month came. Therefore, according to your calculations, this is wrong. And therefore, this is actually Arjun, but his time has passed. So this is the glories of Purushottam month. Those who don't give honor and respect to Purushottam month they get a consequence like Duryodhan. Will you hear that? Don't be scared. Why did the Pandavas had to roam around so much for 12 years? They didn't have food, they didn't have some water, they had met these demons. Why? Why they had to be so much suffering for 12 years? Because they had disrespected the Purushottam month. At one time, all these Pandavas, once doing their this thing, they reached the Braj when they exile. You know how we go to Kamyavan in the Braj Mandal Parikrama? That's the place where these Yaksha had asked these questions to the Pandavas. That place where we go in Kamyavan. And Yaksha asked these questions. Once he asked this question, oh Krishna, why did we have to suffer that much? And then later on, when Krishna told this old history to Yudhishthirji, that you people, when the Purushottam month came, you did not respect the Purushottam month. Oh, you thought, oh, it comes every 3 years, what difference does it make? You disrespected and taken for granted that month. That is why you have to roam around like this in the forest. But then Draupadi asked, these people disrespected, but what was my fault? Why I am getting crushed with these people, these men? And then he said, there is a history. Because each and every one's karmas, they get combined together. Draupadi, in her last pastime, she was a daughter of Medhavi Rishi. She was very beautiful, daughter of Medhavi Rishi. And his father Medhavi was very austere, always sitting in for austerities. And he forgot that I have a daughter as well, and I have to marry my daughter. But otherwise, the father is always worried about the daughter's marriage, that she should get married on time and to the right person. But he was sitting in this austerity, the meditation for hundreds of years, and he had no realization. And then that Rishi left his body also. But this girl started crying. My father has died, has passed away, not passed away, he's gone and left the body. Who will marry me? And then she reached Durvasa Rishi. Because Durvasa ji and his father Medhavi were very close friends. Durvasa ji said, do you have any desire? Why are you crying so much? And she said, my father has left. I have only one desire. I want to get married with some nice boy. I get married. I don't want anything else. Durvasa ji said, oh, you have met me at the right time. The daughter of my friend. Okay, I'll get you married. The next month is Purushottam month coming. And in that month,
देवता है,
the Lord of that month
स्वयं भगवान
is Krishna himself.
उन पुरुषोत्तम से तुम्हारा विवाह करवा दो।
I'll get you married to the Lord Purushottam.
इस कन्या ने कहा,
And then this girl thought, what are you saying?
ये कोई मजाक है,
Is it a joke?
कोई हंसी खेल है?
Is it like a fun thing?
विवाह करा दो,
You can get me married to Krishna. How can you marry to Lord Krishna?
मेरे को तो आपकी बात पर विश्वास
I don't really have faith on what she's saying, and I have never heard of the Purushottam month. So I'm not really impressed with what she's saying.
दुर्वासा जी तो ऐसे ही,
And Durvasa because he's so sensitive.
वरदान देने पे आए,
So if Durvasa ji is happy, he can give you benediction in 1 second.
और सेंसिटिव इतने हैं कि जोत गुजरी हो, उसको कोई घी डालने है तो वो बिगड़ जाए।
But if he's so sensitive, even if you put some ghee in that wick and the lamp, he will get angry.
किसी के मित्र हो तो
So if he's friend to someone, he can be so friendly and give a benediction. And if he gets angry, even if one thing like is up can upset him so badly. And then Durvasa ji said, "Oh, foolish girl,
मास की
you disrespected
अनादर किया,
Purushottam month
भगवान पुरुषोत्तम का भी अनादर
and you disrespected the Lord Purushottam. I curse you that at this very moment you become old."
बूढ़ी हो गई। इतनी सुंदर,
Such a beautiful girl, woman,
लेकिन शाप के कारण
because of the curse, she became old.
अब वृद्ध से कोई विवाह करेगा?
Will anybody marry an old woman now? Nobody marries an old woman.
कामना वहीं पर ही,
So her desire was finished.
और वृद्ध के बाद, वृद्ध काल के बाद तो एक ही काल आता है,
And after the old age, only one stage comes, that is death.
और क्योंकि वृद्ध हो गई,
So now because she was old, immediately she died also.
अगले जन्म में
In the next life,
द्रुपद राजा की
she became as the daughter of the king Drupad,
जी की उपासना की।
and she worshipped Lord Shiva.
दुर्वासा जी ने, एक बार मैं भूल गया,
Or
दुर्वासा जी
forgot
ने क्या
that
किया था?
because Durvasa ji had said, when Lord Shiva will be happy with you, then you will get married. But because she was so old, how could she be happy? So now she died.
लेकिन अगले जन्म
In
में
her next life, when she came as Draupadi,
की बड़ी उपासना,
she worshipped Shiva Lord Shiva a lot. And one day Lord Shiva was very happy
बोलते कन्या,
and said, "Oh girl, what do you want?"
पास तो कोई मांग नहीं आता,
Everyone comes to me to ask for benedictions. And she said laughingly, I
मुझको एक सुंदर पति दो,
I just want a beautiful husband. Just one husband.
एक पति,
Just one husband.
5 बार बोला।
And she said that 5 times.
शिव जी ने कहा तुम्हारे 5,
Shivji said, okay, you will get 5 husbands.
नहीं नहीं वो तो
She said, no. I just said that in excitement.
बोला तो मतलब वर्तमान में
But because you asked for it, I'll have to fulfill it.
5 बार बोला,
So she asked for 5 times, Pati chahiye, I need a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband. So she got 5 husbands. And she said, no, I'm happy with one. One is okay. She said, no, Draupadi, you will have 5 husbands.
तब द्रौपदी जी का फिर बाद में 5 पांडव,
And then later on, Draupadi was married to 5 husbands. So each and every one activities and the karmas stay connected.
उन्होंने भी
And there the Pandavas also,
प्रेरणा की,
they also disrespected Purushottam month. And here Draupadi also disrespected the Purushottam month. And that's the reason now these 6 people together, they're roaming around in the jungles.
उलझ रहे, कभी उससे उलझ रहे, सब हो रहा।
Sometimes they are having problems with one person, sometimes with the other. But their devotion didn't get less. The problems came, all these situations came, but the Lord's love never got affected.
एक तरफ भक्ति पैरेलल चलती है,
So
और एक तरफ
bhakti goes
संसार की
parallel,
स्थिति होती है।
and all the situations of the world, they stay parallel. But the bhakti is never reduced. Even if your situation, material situation may be good or bad, but bhakti is never perished. We may have to go through our situations, yes, we will have to.
क्या प्रतिजानी नाम है भक्त प्रभु,
But Krishna is promising, my devotees never perishes. This is the firm promise of Lord.
इसलिए
Therefore, in this month,
बड़े आदर के साथ,
take it very respectfully,
बड़े सम्मान के साथ,
with lot of honor,
भक्ति भावना के साथ,
with lot of devotion. You should follow it.
किसी प्रकार का आलस्य मत करो।
Don't do any laziness. Oh, it's all right. They just come, keep coming anyways.
इस महीने का अनादर करने पर
On disrespecting this month, these are the examples, straightforward examples of Pandavas. These situations become.
लेकिन क्या करें?
But what to do?
तो समाप्ति की ओर
But the month is nearly finished.
आज 7 तारीख हो गई,
Today is 7th.
16 तारीख तक
16th is till the time the month is only few days
क्या
left.
करें?
What should we do?
हमें तो पता नहीं था। आज
I didn't know. We heard the story today. Then everybody think, oh, Prakash ji, why didn't you keep the Bhagavat earlier from the very first day of Pururshottama month? Even then, Bhagwan,
अदोषदर्शी है,
he doesn't see the faults of others.
हमारे दोष को नहीं देखेंगे।
He won't consider our faults.
अनजाने में
If we have done something unknowingly, any faults,
क्षमाशील है।
he is always very forgiving.
लेकिन अभी भी समय बिगड़ा नहीं।
But even now, nothing has happened, nothing bad has happened, nothing has gone wrong.
दिन बचे,
How many days are left?
8-9 दिन है।
There's still 8-9 days
कल
left.
से भी अगर आप
Even if you from tomorrow,
इस महीने को
if you follow this month seriously with respect, with honor,
जो हो गया उसके लिए एक बार क्षमा मांगो।
you ask for forgiveness of the already gone time.
अगली बार पुरुषोत्तम महीना
That when next time the Purushottam month will come,
से पूरा एक
I'll follow it nicely 1 month with the vow. Lot of devotees take vow from the first day. For a full 1 month,
भगवान का नाम जप,
they do the chanting of the Lord.
पूरे 1 महीने तक
For 1 month,
भगवान के आगे दीपक
I will do the Deepdan like Aarti
दिखाऊंगा भगवान को। ये दीपक दिखाना भगवान को इस
to
महीने
show
में
the Deepdan or the Lord Deepak is considered very auspicious.
और
And
विशेष करके भगवान
especially I will take the names of the Lord. With that,
कथा यदि बीच में
and in that also, if there is Bhagavat Katha comes, this is the even better.
भागवत की कथा ना हो,
Even if Bhagavat Katha is not happening, you can read Bhagavat at home. Even if 10 minutes,
भगवान का आदर सम्मान।
then 10 minutes also honoring the Lord is, there's no need for hours.
और कितने सौभाग्य की बात है
And
इसी
such a
पुरुषोत्तम महीने
fortunate that in this Purushottam month,
हमारी श्रीमद् भागवत की कथा
we are having this organization of Srimad Bhagavat. Started just yesterday.
की लीला को भगवान की कथा को
And we are hearing the pastimes of Lord, His devotees. All this we are hearing
साक्षात श्रीमद् भागवत जी के सामने
in front of Sakshat Krishna himself, in front of Bhagavat ji itself.
परम मंगल है।
This is most auspicious. Therefore, yesterday I was emphasizing on this fact that 7 days take a vow and listen to the katha.
तो एक भक्त जाते जाते बोल रहे
So one devotee before leaving, he said, I have taken the vow that I will listen every day for 7 days,
हैं ना भी हो
but maybe I won't come. And I said, how will that happen?
तो फेसबुक पर
I'll hear it on the Facebook.
तो ठीक है,
All right.
फेसबुक पर ही सही,
It's all right even on the Facebook.
फेसबुक पर
But on the Facebook, listening on the Facebook and coming here and listening
ऐसा तो नहीं है।
is not same.
अगर हमारा कोई ट्रीटमेंट करना हो
If we need a treatment, we have to go to the hospital. Doctor cannot treat us on the Facebook.
और मैंने आरंभ ही ऐसे किया
And I started from here
समय और
for whatever time, whatever steps
यहाँ पर चलकर आए हैं
one has taken to come here. What is the object? To hear the katha of Bhagavat. Is that this is the respect of the Lord. Bhagwan takes it as his honor that my devotee has come to me to listen to my pastimes, listen to my katha. Such a matter of happiness. We also consider that if somebody comes to our home, we feel delighted. If somebody has his birthday, if you go to his home with a gift in your hands, how does that feel? That person feels. He feels so much happy. So like that, Krishna feels so honored. So the same honor, we should give it to honor, and Bhagwan accepts it when we hear the katha of Bhagavatam. What to say? There's so much to say.
वही ज्ञान बीतता रहता है। परीक्षित जी की कथा सुना रहे थे,
I was telling the pastime of Parikshit ji, and now this is a part of Mahabharata. where
महाभारत समाप्त हो गया,
now Mahabharata has ended.
गंगा टूट गई,
Duryodhana's thigh bone has broken.
बहुत कुछ हुआ,
Lot of things happened. You all have watched Mahabharata on the TV, isn't it? Then why are you hearing from me? To speak till 8:15 or
मालिक सबकी सुनता है,
Lord hears everyone.
मालिक ने समय दे दिया, grace।
So the Lord has given me grace time. So Parikshit Maharaj, so Shut Goswami was telling the Katha of Mahabharata. He forgot that I was actually telling the birth pastime of Parikshit Maharaj. And then he started saying, oh my God, when Parikshit was born, Brahmanas saw his Lagna and named him Vishnu Alad, and the other name they gave him was Vishnu Rath. And the other name, what is the meaning of Vishnu Rath? The one who was protected by Vishnu, Bhagwan. And the other name Parikshit, why was that given? The person who in his mother's womb had darshan of Bhagwan, and after taking the birth, he was watching everywhere, inspecting, where is that person who saved me in the womb of my mother? So such Parikshit ji was such a great devotee who had the darshan of Lord in the mother's womb. What's a big thing? Bhagwan can enter the womb. Wow. That is what I was saying before. The mother's womb is not a very good place to go into. All rishis and saintly person, they pray to God, oh please don't send us to mother's womb again. There's so much of problems, so much of sufferings there. And such a place where there is all the urine and the stool there, Lord goes into that place. And he's not just a prime minister, he is Lord. Why is he going? Because he wanted to save this, the future, what Vanshaj? He's like the future generation who was going to be attacked by the Ashwatthama's like a weapon, arrow. He was almost died anyways, but Krishna entered into the womb of Uttara, and by his nectarian vision, nectarian glance, he gave him birth again. This is called giving the benediction, Vardhan Dehi. If someone had a very, very, very heavy accident, very that he somehow, and then he says, oh, I got saved from this big accident. The whole truck went onto this car. I've almost died, but somehow I got saved. When somebody says, how I got saved, this situation is called Vardhan Dehi. So in some lifetime, some person's benediction is just fructifying. Otherwise, I nearly died in that accident. I would have been died. I was died. But because of that benediction, I was saved. I was almost getting a birth again. And some people get this cursed body, that they are alive, but they're so much cursed that they cannot live happily. This body is called Shrapit, cursed body, and that body is called benediction, Vardhan Dehi. Parikshit ji, he was actually burnt with that weapon, but because of Bhagwan's close association in the womb and from his nectarian glands, he got another Vardhan Dehi, like a new body. And when Parikshit ji was born, and Brahmanas looked at his horoscope and they gave this prediction. There is no doubt that this is most fortunate child. When he will grow, he will become a Mahabhagavat, the biggest devotee.
लग्न और लक्षण
all of the stars and all the planetaries, everything was arranged as to meant for him to be a highest devotee.
अपने बाल्य काल में ही
Even in his early childhood, when the kids are just playing together, Parikshit Maharaj used to play with the deities of Krishna. When he grew up, and the Pandavas were thinking, because of us, so many people got killed, and they started walking towards the Himalayas to do the penance, and they made Parikshit as their king, as the next successor of the throne. Now Parikshit ji, day and night, he was just remembering Bhagavan and his ancestors, and he would remember his ancestors, Pandavas, and their relationship with Krishna. But there is a process of a devotion to go further. Any obstacles, the obstructions leads to
enhancement of bhakti. कोई एक बाधा
any obstruction when comes in the life,
भक्ति की स्पीड
then devotional speed increases 4 times.
एक पानी को
Like a dam of the river in the water, it stops the water, the flow of the water. But if you lift the dam, the speed of the water will become 4 times than it was before.
भगवान भी
Lord is like that as well.
किसी पर बड़े प्रसन्न
When he is happy with someone
और उसकी भक्ति को तुरंत बढ़ाना है
and wants to increase the devotion,
भगवान के साथ उसकी proximity
and then there is a very close proximity happening very quickly, then obstructions come,
भगवान के द्वारा दिया जाता है।
and it is given by the Lord.
वो बाधा तो पार कर जाता है,
He
उसके बाद उसकी भक्ति बड़ी तीव्र गति से आगे
he crosses that obstruction, but then his devotion increases very much.
बढ़ती है। के संबंध में
Like for example, Bharat ji's topic when it comes.
यज्ञ करते
Bharat ji, King Bharat used to do the fire sacrifices, yajnas every day. The same king on which the king in India was named as Bharat.
अरे ब्राह्मण
And Lord was very happy with him. Why?
सूर्याय स्वाहा
Like Brahmanas were doing these fire sacrifices,
तो भरत जी सोचते
and Bharat ji was thinking,
चंद्र तो मेरे भगवान के नेत्र हैं,
the sun and the sun and the moon are the eyes of my Lord. So I am not actually doing the offerings to the sun and moon, but to the eyes of my Lord. And then this is Lord thought, he's thinking so much about me for every activity. I should increase his devotion.
कैसे बड़ी
And how did that happen?
से आसक्ति के कारण
He got attached to a deer's child, deer's baby deer.
खेल है एक लीला है।
So this is a pastime, like a game.
ऋषि जी के साथ में
And this has happened with Parikshit Maharaj also.
वन में जा रहे हैं,
Parikshit Maharaj was going in the forest, and then he saw the Shamik Rishi, and then he was very thirsty.
जब प्यास लगी तो
When he was thirsty, Shamik Rishi, he told Shamik Rishi, I'm very thirsty, I'm the king of here, the kingdom, please give me some water. But Shamik Rishi was in meditation,
समाधि लगी हो,
and he was in samadhi. So if a saint person is in samadhi, you are expecting him to help you?
इम्पॉसिबल।
This is impossible.
हाँ, अगर
Yes,
नेत्र खुले हों
if his eyes were open
और समाधि ना
and
हो,
he was not in the
तब
samadhi,
यदि सहायता ना की जाए,
then if he doesn't help, then it could be taken as offense.
पर अपनी कृष्ण में
But where he is in the samadhi of his worshipable Lord, there shouldn't be considered as offense.
श्रीमद ऋषि समाधि में
So Shamik Rishi was in the stage of samadhi,
कहने लगे, सुन नहीं रहे,
and then Maharaj Parikshit said, "Are you not hearing? I'm thirsty."
की नोक से
And with the point of there's the tip of a arrow, he catched one dead snake and put it in his neck.
बहुत से लोग बोलते हैं
Many people say,
परीक्षित जी ने सोने का मुकुट धारण
because Parikshit Maharaj was wearing a crown of the gold,
सोने में कली का
and
वास
because
है,
in the gold the Kali lives, therefore Parikshit
ऋषि के चरणों में
did this offense at the feet of Shamik Rishi.
लोग ऐसा बोलते
Many people say that,
हैं। लोगों की बात पे मत जाना
but don't go into what they say.
और भागवत
Follow what Bhagavat ji and scriptures are telling. Some people have to say something. That is their job to say things.
उनकी बात पे मत जाना।
Don't just listen to them.
भगवत जी की और शास्त्र की
Listen to what Bhagavad Ji and the scriptures tell.
क्यों ऐसा क्यों?
Why did he do that?
जैसे परम संत
Parikshit was such a saintly person and he was a king and devotee. He was in the dynasty of the Pandavas. How could he do? He didn't do it, but it was made to do by him. Why? By Lord himself. Why?
क्योंकि भागवत जी को संसार में उतारना है।
Because he wanted to make the Bhagavad Ji come on in this world.
जैसे अर्जुन
He wanted to invoke Bhagavad Ji. Because just like Arjun, he cannot be illusioned. He illusioned himself, Arjun, in so that because this was like a drama.
अर्जुन को मोह में डाला।
He deliberately put Arjuna in the illusion, and through the medium of Arjuna, he wanted to manifest Bhagavad Gita. What did Bhagavad Gita? Did he teach it to Duryodhan? Whom did Bhagavad Gita was told to? Arjuna.
सुनानी थी ना,
So, but he really wanted to tell Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna or to us?
तो बहाना है।
Arjun was an excuse. He wanted to tell it for us.
वो कैसे?
How is that?
गुरु जी उदाहरण देते हैं।
Gurudev used to give this example.
जैसे घर में
For example,
बस बात है।
this is very nice, like a very common story. In the house, there is a daughter-in-law and there is a and this daughter as well. Now, the mother-in-law has to teach something to her daughter-in-law, but she gives the advice to the daughter.
असर सारे
Everybody is laughing. Do you understand
बहू
this?
को कुछ सुनाना
So if she want to give some taunt or something to her daughter, teach something to her daughter-in-law, but she teaches it to her daughter and loudly. So does it mean the daughter who has taken birth in this house doesn't know it?
क्योंकि सुना
But why is she showing loudly? Because she wanted to teach it to her daughter-in-law.
सम्मत नहीं है।
But she doesn't have a relationship of blood with the daughter-in-law. But the daughter has a blood relationship. So, although we might say my daughter-in-law is like my daughter, but she is not the daughter. But daughter, even if you slap your daughter, although you shouldn't, but even if it can be done, but it is very sensitive to tell it to your daughter-in-law.
ऐसे ही
Similarly,
अर्जुन भगवान के भक्त हैं।
Arjun is a devotee of the Lord.
कुछ भी कह सकते हैं।
He can tell anything to Arjun,
जोर से अर्जुन को गीता सुनाई जिससे कि
and therefore he purposefully told Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna so that we can hear. So it wasn't meant for Arjuna. So it was almost like he was not telling it to his daughter, but to his daughter. So we haven't got an established relationship with Lord yet. So therefore the Bhagavad Gita is for us, not for Arjuna. Arjuna knows everything.
भागवत भी
Similarly, Bhagavad Ji also,
भागवत जी को संसार में उतारना
he wanted to manifest Bhagavad Ji in this world through Parikshit Maharaj. Bhagwan wanted to manifest his own form in this world, and Bhagavad Ji is the form of Krishna.
कली को
So,
चार स्थान दिए।
Parikshit Ji had given 4 places to Kali to stay in.
जुआ खेला जा रहा
Where one place is gambling is happening,
हो, मदिरा हो,
where there is alcohol, there is prostitution.
ये सब स्थान
So there are 4 places where Parikshit Maharaj had allowed the Kali Yuga to stay in. So the place where the gambling is happening,
सिन सिटी
that is a sin city. What is the meaning of sin city? Like Las Vegas. All the 4 things happen there.
मतलब कली के स्थान पर पहुंच गए।
So Las Vegas is like
लैंड किया तो कली राजा मान
like this is like a kingdom of Kali. All the 4 things happen.
जैकपॉट है सीधा।
There is gambling there, jackpot.
मदिरा भी है।
There is alcohol, everything. This is a place of Kali. So he gave 4 places for Kali Yuga to live. Somebody might say, "Oh Parikshit ji,
आपने कली को उस समय मार क्यों नहीं?
why didn't you kill Kali that time?
स्थान दे दिया।
But you gave him all the places to stay and created a problem for us.
आपके हाथ में तलवार थी,
You had a sword in your
कली
hand.
सामने आ गया।
Kali came in front of you. You should have finished him up.
ये जो भक्त होते हैं ना,
But the devotees,
सारग्राही मतलब
they are very,
the essence।
devotees take the essence.
उस समय परीक्षित जी ने
At that time, Parikshit ji made and thought.
इतना गहरा विचार
And it was such a deep thinking.
कि कलेर दोषो निधि राजन अस्तित्व महत गुना। कलियुग दोषों की खान है।
He was thinking Kali Yuga is just like a mine of faults. There all these offenses happen here, like quarrels. There is people taking some other people's money. Like when somebody says, "Why didn't you come for Bhagavat?" Is that there was the traffic jam, so they can tell lies. If somebody is late, somebody might say, "Oh, we got caught in the traffic jam," but the reality is that they had to do the makeup, but take bath, it took time. But they said, "Oh, we got stuck in the traffic." So telling lies is so easy in the Kali Yuga. So there are faults, so many faults in the Kali Yuga, but there is one big quality, the good quality of Kali Yuga, looking at which Parikshit Maharaj didn't kill the Kali.
Kirtan eva krishnasya, eva means only and only.
So there is only Krishna's Kirtan, Nam Kirtan. With that, any person can be saved from all these Kali Yuga's faults. Only one benefit. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. Only Krishna's name, Bhagavan's name, Bhagavan's name, Bhagavan's name, and Bhagavan's name. 3 times repeated. And the thing which is repeated 3 times, scriptures consider it as the authority. Parikshit ji saw only one with good quality. Other than that, nothing. And he thought in the other yugas, by doing the tapasya, by doing the service, that cannot be obtained, the result cannot be obtained, which can be obtained in this very less span of 100 years, living in these faults. Even though there is no purity, even then there is so much of offenses, sins. But even then, by the names of Lord, they can get such a destination which is not available in the other yugas. People hanker for Satyuga, but people of Satyuga hanker to take birth in Kali Yuga. Do you know why? It is said in this 100 years of little age, and through the names of Krishna, they can reach such a highest destination. From such a lowest situation to highest situation was not achievable in Satyuga also. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj left him free, and he gave him 4 places. Okay, you can go and take all these places where there is gambling, where there is women, where there is alcohol. He said, okay, you have given me 4 places. Tell me the doors. Where will I enter? And then he said, okay, now where will I enter from? And he said, you can enter from gold. And therefore people say he was wearing the gold crown, and therefore the Kali entered into his crown, and therefore because it was made up of gold, and that is why his intelligence got bewildered. But this is not what Shastras say. Even so many people, the speakers who come in the TV to speak Bhagavatam, say these wrong facts. Whenever I tell the Katha of Krishna, I remember this. How can they say all these things? 14 years ago, such a big famous speaker of Bhagavad, because those people who come on TV get famous, and they are the only Bhagavad speakers. Others are not considered important by the people. What was he saying? Parikshit ji was wearing a gold crown, and the gold has the place of Kali, and therefore, see, he did an offense at the feet of the he did offense at the feet of the Rishi, and therefore he had to be killed in 7 days. So the moral of the story is, don't wear gold. You should only donate gold. So you should donate gold here rather than wearing gold.
कोई कथा बोलता है ना एकदम एब्जॉर्प्शन होता है।
So when somebody is speaking the katha, they are really absorbed. So now he spoke that.
हाथ हिला रहे तो सोने की अंगूठी
But when he was moving his hands, he was wearing so many big golden rings and the bracelets. The speaker of the katha was wearing so much of gold, and everybody was watching. Maharaj is giving us this instruction not to wear the gold, but he's wearing so much of gold ornaments. When he himself saw that everybody is the audience are watching my fingers, he kept his hands down and then he twisted his own words and he said, "You people listen carefully." Parikshit was a listener, he wasn't a speaker. So only the listeners should not wear the gold. Speaker can wear it. So this is how he twisted, because they want to just get the money from you. They said the gold is not to be worn, it is to be donated. So therefore you should donate Bhagavad Ji, keeping it on the golden throne. So Maharaj is saying, will you give me the donation? Make a donation of a golden, even if it is half a kilo, it will help. And keep Bhagavad Ji on the, and you will get a lot of wealth, a lot of mercy donating it in the Pururshottam month. So the instruction to keep the Bhagavad Ji on the golden throne is not for donation, but this is actually said in scriptures because it's such a great scripture. It's just like a king sits on the throne of the gold, because similarly Bhagavat is the king of all the scriptures. So it should be seated on the golden throne, not for actually donation, but they just made it up. So anyhow, the time is completed. I respect the rules of the katha and the timings given by the temple, and everybody is getting late. So after hearing this, the pastime of Parikshit Maharaj, we pray to him, just like you, with such a beautiful absorption. You heard the Bhagavad Ji. Please bless us that we can also hear Bhagavad Ji with complete absorption, and we get devotion in the feet of the Lord. This is, we pray in the feet of Parikshit Maharaj.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.